Thank you everybody for participating with the first MicroTank meeting. We're just excited to get started. It's the first time we're doing this. There was a lot of interest from the program director at FFA to give this thing a shot based on the interest that we had, and not only at FFA, but other programs. We think that this can be a nice value add for students and teachers. A little bit of history. Jared, I'm the product and market manager at Rain Growing Systems. I'm tasked with finding ways to bring products to market and also finding opportunities for users to get more value out of the systems that we provide. As we go through into the judging process and later on into mentorship, you'll get exposed to really cool people in this industry that if I was in school, I'd be like, this is exactly the person that I would love to talk to. I mean, like Thomas, you haven't only done CA work, right?
Yeah, that's right. I graduated in 2010 with a degree in industrial design, and I think most people don't know what it is, but it's kind of the creative end of product development. There's engineers and there's marketing people, and people think engineers are the only people who help make a physical product. So anything from a Nike shoe, furniture, a car, sporting equipment. So industrial designers help craft the look and feel of a product, and they focus on aesthetics, branding, usability, user experience. So engineers really focus more on manufacturing and assembly and costs, but industrial designers are kind of behind the scene of every brand, focusing on those more creative and aesthetic things of a product. My first job was consulting just for a design firm, and I was working on medical equipment, surgical tools, pharmaceutical devices, sporting goods. Later in my career, I was exposed to a company in China that was manufacturing grow lights and horticultural equipment. I met a startup company there too that was based in Los Angeles, and I ended up working for them full time for 5 or 6 years, and we built a pretty large brand developing grow lights for professional cultivators. So the company was a startup from day one, and then after 5 years, it was acquired from a big corporation. I'm now starting a new brand just for houseplants. Industrial design is a great career. Most people have no idea what it is, but it's really fun, and obviously it's super creative.
Thanks, Thomas. And also we got Chris on the call. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Chris Corkery. I'm the founder and CEO of 100 Acre, based out of Wisconsin. We're a 4-year-old startup positioned as a food brand, vertically integrated with our indoor hydroponic model. We sell to schools, restaurants, and grocery stores across the state of Wisconsin at scale. So we do large-scale food service ranging from hospitality groups, stadiums, and universities, grocery chains like our partner Kroger. And we continue to try to figure out how to get our fresh food into schools, which sadly is incredibly difficult. And as a former chef, I would work with at-risk youth back in New York City. That's where I'm from. I just think that food is our future.
Thank you for being here. So Chris and Thomas are one of the judges that are going to actually judge the competition in January when participants present your project. And I'm pretty excited to share them with you. And I'm really glad that they've been able to offer their time. So why don't I go ahead and just present the competition. So this is it. It's the first MicroTank competition. The purpose of this is for participants to plan a real business, solve problems, and compete with other entrepreneurs across the country. It's not only for FFA. We're going to NAAE, if anybody's familiar with the National Association of Agriculture Educators. And we're going to be doing a presentation next week on this. We're expecting participants to be coming in through there too. Why does this exist? We want to find ways to provide students with mentorship, like real opportunities to meet people in the industry. So to kind of create some excitement around the idea that you don't have to just become an engineer or become a scientist to be successful. You can do those things, and that is a path to success. You can also complement that learning with real business skills and real entrepreneurship. You can learn how to talk to people, how to handle that creativity inside, and how to have fun while you're learning. That's really what we want to bring to the table. And not to discount become an engineer. I'm an electrical engineer, and it's okay. You could do that. You can also learn these things at the same time and have a really exciting career. This is a timeline to the project. We're doing kickoff right now. First submission is January 23rd. So what is a first submission? So let's say 60 different groups submit their business idea. We can't ask, all of our judges to review 60 people, or for 60 people to pitch live. We'll go through all of those and we'll put it down to like the top 12 or 10 to 12. Those will be the people that will pitch live to our judges. Okay. And so the live pitch will happen January 28th. What is a live pitch? Let's say you were going to ask an investor for money for your business. What would you tell them? How are you going to ask an investor for money? You're going to give them what's called a 10-slide pitch deck. It's a very common way of presenting your idea and asking for capital or for money to fund your business for a certain period of time. It's a great way to build interest. It's a great way to get feedback. And in this case, it'll be the way that you are going to pitch your business idea. So we're going to walk you through exactly what you need to do, what that looks like. That's in the package material that comes with this. If anybody had a moment to look at the README, we've got information that comes with it. And inside there's links to resources. There's a whack load of information out there. And what we've done is distilled it into like the 3 core things that you need to know. That's what a business model canvas, how to use Canva, 2 different things, and how to do a 10-slide pitch deck. That'll get you across the finish line. If you go through those 3 things, you'll be golden. The judges on the call are going to decide the 5 winners. The 5 winners are going to each receive a micro rack. It's a $1,800 grow rack with lights that real growers are using to grow microgreens and to run their business. We're going to give it to you for free. We're going to send it to your school with all of the stuff, the seeds, the growing media, everything. And we're going to let you run with it in any way that you want. So you'll have from January 28th till April 2nd to do with it what you see fit. So if you want to start your business, if you want to do taste testing, if you want to make videos or any sort of cool marketing material to promote your business idea, that's your opportunity to do it. You can work on this during class, after school, and we want this to be fair for all schools. So we want to limit the groups to sizes of 4. So if you want to do multiple groups within your class, you can do that. All right, so final submission, it's an executive summary. That's really just a short 1-pager of your business concept, who's your target market, who are you selling to, and what maybe makes you more competitive against someone else that's doing microgreens, and a little bit of financials. The 10-slide pitch deck we talked about, it's just problem, solution, market opportunity, business, yada, yada. You want it to look good, compelling. Don't put too much information on it. This is too many words. Like this slide deck that I've got here, bad example, too many words, less words than that. So lots of visuals, try to make it very engaging. Otherwise, your judges will fall asleep. So let's keep them awake. And that's where you show off your brand, make it fun, do any kind of social media content. You don't need followers. We don't care about any of that. What we care about is that you're putting effort into what you're doing. You could come up with a social strategy, and you could look into making a social media calendar. So there are ways around it that you can be just as creative and effective with pitching yourself. What do we got for awards and recognitions? I didn't tell you about the ambassador status. So what we want to do is recognize a winner for a MicroTank 2026. You could come to FFA Nationals and be at our booth and talk about your experience. We'd also love to invite you to be back as like an ambassador for next year's students. It's going to be fun, and you get to communicate directly with myself and the team with any questions that you have, because we're not going to have an overwhelming number of people involved. What we want to do is pair you up with the mentor that would best match you and your interests going forward. Okay, and you'll get to know them better, especially as we roll out their bios and everything else. Go to your farmer's market, a gourmet grocery stores, or a nice restaurant. Just walk in and be like, hey, can I speak to your chef? I'm doing this thing. It's around microgreens. I want to learn a little bit more about them. Do you guys use microgreens? Why? How? Where? How much do they cost? That kind of stuff. Ask them. Be engaged and ask them to go out and do your research. That's going to make you stand out among the rest. And that kind of leads into finding your customers. So going out to restaurants and cafes, you're going to start to find out that people are growing with microgreens. If you search on Google Maps microgreens, you may be able to actually find some near you on Google Maps. They'll show up. I'll give you some insights. We've got microgreen grow lights. If we go to Indianapolis to do FFA Nationals, right, and we needed microgreens for our booth, I looked on Google and said microgreens near me, and I found some people that grow with microgreens, and I made an email to each of them, and I said, hey, would you be interested in supporting this? How much would they cost? And could we do trade? Could I trade you grow lights for your microgreens? And that's what we did. We got microgreens and we gave them grow lights. It was very beneficial for both of us. You can do things like that. If you know what you're providing to them is an opportunity for them to share their knowledge with the next generation, which is actually a very valuable thing for a lot of people. So I would encourage you to reach out to these kinds of business owners. They're awesome. Like Chris, for example, wouldn't hesitate to talk to someone that wants to learn about the business. You got to go and find out. Do people like one microgreen over another? How much are they comfortable paying? Will they pay? Is there another way to use microgreens? Are there other applications for microgreens than a grocery store? If you're starting a business, you want to identify real problems, right? Don't create problems or create solutions to manufactured problems. You want to find real problems that exist in the world and create solutions for those. Identify real problems. Find out, will they like them in your community? Do some surveys, talk to people, talk to your parents, talk to other students in the class and their parents, and try to get maybe a focus group and learn about it. You got to talk to people. And then designing your microgreen solution, find out maybe you're not just growing plants, or maybe you're not just growing microgreens to sell them to a chef. Maybe you want to do something else with them. You know, don't get overwhelmed with the process. Don't be scared by the mechanics or, you know, food safe or legal or anything like that. Don't let that scare you. There's always a solution to that stuff. First, have a really cool idea and then deal with that stuff. Brainstorm. Any idea is great. And then poke holes once you've got the idea. Choose your customer focus and sketch your initial idea. Just write it out. This is all in depth in the Canva. I won't waste too much time dealing with it. You know, for the longest time, a business model was like the juice. Like there was no other way. You couldn't get money or you couldn't do anything unless you had a business model. A lot of companies now, a lot of startups aren't making business models. They're doing what's called a business model canvas. And once again, don't mix it up with Canva, the software. We will encourage you to use Canva to build your business model canvas, but a business model canvas is a one-pager that is really your whole business on one page. I encourage you to do that because a business model on its own can be overwhelming. Okay, so financial planning essentials. You know, we'll do this very high level. We don't want you to be accountants unless you want to do that, or maybe there's a student in your class that is naturally driven towards that. Let them take this on. That would be cool to see your team split up into their strengths, leaning into the strengths of your team. You'll understand what each of these mean as you go through it. That's basically the bulk of this. Judging wise, it's going to be qualitative. We want to find out like how you are able to pitch your business. Are you doing something fun? Are you going to make a music video around your microgreens? What are you going to do? I want to stress that you don't need to actually grow microgreens. You don't need to start a business and register with the IRA. You don't need to do any of that stuff. We just want you to come up with your idea and your go-to-market strategy at a high level. We'll judge you based on these things like the feasibility, professionalism, communication, your marketing. Don't mix up professionalism with not being fun. Okay, I want to make that really clear. Encourage you to be fun and creative and not too serious about it. Of course, there's bonus points. If you go out and you're doing this and you're getting your community involved and you're getting other people involved, of course, we're going to be like, okay, you guys are pretty cool. Don't be scared to get outside your comfort zone.
I have a question. I'm going to do this like as a class assignment. For planning, do I need to register all the teams? Is there a registration time or is it just submit what you got?
It's just going to be submission. Yeah. So just submit. And if you want to filter it, we'll leave it up to you. Submit what you feel comfortable with, and it would be on that submission date. So
I just want to say one thing about the business plan part, or just, overall about product and creativity. When you look at any kind of product, I'm going to use bottled water as an example. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Liquid Death, but it's a brand of water that's making like over $100 million a year. It's just water, but they've put it into this aluminum can, and they've got, really interesting packaging that, the bottled water industry has never seen. So sometimes with a lot of products or categories and markets, sometimes the actual product is really the same as what your competitors sell, but it's all about the branding and the packaging and the messaging that, you communicate and, who you talk to as who you identify your consumer as. So for Liquid Death, they noticed a gap, and they delivered pretty much the same product in a whole different way. So you can think of things in the same way as microgreen. So, maybe you guys are growing the same thing as your competitor, but you're communicating it and packaging it and just representing it visually in an entirely new way to a whole new kind of market and customer. So you can always get caught up in making the product more high tech or fancy or something maybe innovative and out of the box, but you can also focus on branding and marketing and messaging.
Thank you, Thomas, for bringing that up. Yeah, I mean, Liquid Death is an awesome example of the emotional connection that you make. Emotion is greater than features, right? Features is logic. Emotion is benefits. What do you get? How does it affect you? Not the features of it. Okay. So think about that when you're doing this activity. But awesome. Without further ado, I'll let you guys go. Thank you again so much, and email me or reach out on our socials. And we're looking forward to seeing you again in January.